like that? You 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 like that?
What's going on? It's Coach Williams, and I'm back for another breakdown. So today we are going to talk DJ Turner out of Michigan. Played in that Michigan defense, very complex, prepares you for the NFL. He had a phenomenal combine. There are some question marks about this guy. So enough talk, let's get right into this thing. So we got him here in the slot. And so the first thing I want you to notice here is that he's outside leverage, okay? So outside leverage, and he opens his hips a little bit too early for me here. And then that leads to him having to flip back. And the receiver's got to step on him. Very poorly thrown ball. If that ball is thrown properly, that's probably a completion. And so my issue with that, and this is going to come up over the course of the video, is he's got elite speed, but the technique is not all there, right? It's not all there. And it puts him in a position where sometimes his speed is not translating to the actual game. So now we got him down here at the bottom of the screen. He's in press, and bang, it ends up being a corner blitz, okay? So corner blitz off the edge. And so the offensive lineman is able to get into him, but he still affects the throw, and it ends up being an incompletion. I personally, though, if you run 4-2, and I think he had like a 1-4-7 split, I don't know. I want to see you get there, right? Especially the offensive lineman goes down on this end here, and I want to see the burst. I want to see the burst that you can actually beat this guy, get here, and get a hit on the quarterback. Like for me, the 4-2, it shows up sometimes, but sometimes it also doesn't. So it's just interesting for me. So we got him down here at the bottom of the screen. And so I want to show you this one because he's a smaller guy, right, on the outside. And I don't know. I think he's going to make his living in the slot, but we shall see. He does a good job of tearing off of this block. I wish it was a little bit more clean. But here, he gets in here and he misses the tackle, but he forces him back inside to the pursuit, and other guys end up making the tackle. That's really important to understand angles and be able to force runners back inside and not let anybody get outside of you. Foreshadow. All right, so we'll see this from the tight here. All right, he does a good job of keeping that outside hand free after he tears off, right? Could get a holding call here, and that's the reason why you do it. That's why you want to keep your outside half free, because the only way for the receiver to be able to block you if you keep your outside half free is for him to hold you. Gets down here. Gets a little wobbly here, gets put on roller skates, but either way, it's okay to miss the tackle if you force the runner back inside. All right, so we got him down here at the bottom of the screen. And so sometimes the recognition is a little bit late here, right? You got to recognize that Quentin Johnston is not running a route that he's coming down to crack, right? When he throttles down like this, you got to understand that he's coming down to crack, right? So you got to replace. The running back has the ball. You can see all that. You got to replace and set the line of scrimmage. That's setting the edge. He's late, which makes him inside of the runner. We just talked about this. You want to be outside in so that if you miss the tackle, he goes back into the pursuit, misses it, ends up being a pretty big run. So here, we got another blitz here. And so smaller guy, right? Little guy. He gets in here, and look at where he meets the runner here. This is a, 3-yard loss here if he makes his tackle on contact immediately. But he ends up getting dragged, and it turns into a perfect play call from the defensive coordinator. Gets turned into a 7-yard gain. So again, in the slot, this is where I think that he should live, in the slot here. And so again, if we go back to the top of it, similar to the first play, right? He's in the slot. He's outside leverage. But he allows the receiver to get outside of him, right? You got to fight across. You got to fight across as he starts to go to the outside to keep your leverage. You cannot give away your leverage like this. And so this is one of the issues that I have with him. The 4-2 is great, but sometimes it doesn't get used to his advantage. He's allowing this guy to get outside of him, and then he turns into the body of the receiver. And in the NFL, that's a PI. In the NFL, that's a PI. It ends up getting called incomplete here, as we can see from the ref. But in the NFL, that's a PI. And so what he needs to do here, if he loses his leverage, right, what he's got to be able to do is he's got to get into the body of this receiver, get hip to hip with this receiver. And then when you can see that the receiver is looking back, he's slowing down, poorly thrown ball, right, underthrown ball, you got to take this outside arm and rake it through this receiver here and throw your back into him, right? Just like a rebound. It's a stealth way to PI. You see it in the NFL all the time. You see Jalen Ramsey do this a lot. A lot of the other, really good corners in the league, they do this and they never get called for PI on it. You got to rake that arm through and then box him out. So he gets lucky here and doesn't get called for a PI. So now bottom of the screen here, this one finally, right? Really good rep here against elite competition. Quentin Johnston, potential first round guy, right? I like the feet, right? I like the feet here, motor feet. Gets into the turn and then the stab here, right? So Quentin Johnston swipes his hand away and it shows that he has really good balance on this play because he doesn't break stride. He sticks with them step for step. That's a really good press rep right there. All right. Again, same thing. Really good job here. Bring it back to the beginning. Again, patience, motor feet. Gets into him. See, this is what he needed to do last time. Look at how he's cutting him off, getting into his body, right? He didn't rake the arm very violently, but either way, I'm not going to nitpick that. This is a good job getting into the body of the receiver. Big receiver like that, you got to body that guy up. You can't give him any kind of space. So now, press bail. He bails. And again, right, some of the coverage technique and instincts here are just not all there, okay? So he's bailing, right? So press bail. Okay? And so he is keying, right, from 1 to 2 here. 2 goes away, right? So 2 is away. Eyes got to get on 1, right? His eyes are looking down and through. I can't tell what he's looking at. I can't tell if he's looking at the receivers or he's looking at the quarterback. Eyes got to get to 1, right? Because you take your eyes off 1 like that, Johnston chops down, and you are totally out of position. Look at all the gather steps here, right? All the gather steps, right? We gotta be better than that, right? We gotta play lower than that. We got a better eye discipline, and he gets lucky that the receiver drops the ball, pretty poorly thrown ball again. All right, so this one made me pretty frustrated, okay? So I'm gonna tell you right now, this guy right here, at the safety spot here, this guy played for me at Malden for Pop Warner. He played at Everett High School for high school, but back when I was a Pop Warner coach, before I started coaching college football, this guy, Mikey Sanderstill, he was one of my safeties. And, he was a little bit of a hard-headed kid. You needed to get him motivated and get him up to play. He was a superstar here in Massachusetts, right? Really highly recruited guy, like one of the best football players in Mass in high school. It took a lot to get him motivated. He went to Michigan, tried to play receiver, didn't really find a spot there, but he's really found a home on the defense as a safety. And when you watch him on film, for me, as a guy that coached him for a while, the growth as a player has been phenomenal. He fights for every play. He is a leader when you watch the games on the broadcast view. He's always the one getting everyone motivated and playing hard. So they're in this college football playoff game and they're fighting for their lives because they're having a tough game here. And the run goes the opposite way. And what does he do? He books it. He's running as fast as he can and gets in here and helps and makes the tackle on the 1 yard line to stay in the game, right? This was going to be a big touchdown for them if it ended up being scored on that play. And he's fighting for every inch. Now let's watch DJ Turner, who runs 4.2. Okay? He runs 4.2. Realizes that it's a run play, right? It's gone the opposite way. And he's jogging. I got a problem with that, man. I got a problem with that. But Mikey chases this guy down with his other teammate and they make a play. That's the type of stuff that I look for on film. I don't know if other people, are focusing on it and looking at it that hard. But for me, that's a problem. I don't like that. So this next play right here, this little crosser here, they're just trying to box everything out and get this guy in space. And again, we talked about angles, right? So Quentin Johnston's got the ball. We know from watching his film, he's got some like Deebo Samuel type plays where he gets the ball in space and he could be gone. So you got to understand, you got to take this from outside in, right? You got to tackle this guy outside in, force him back into the pursuit. He goes inside out, totally misses the tackle, and Quentin Johnston's gone. Very poor effort though. Even if he did do it properly, we can look here at the rest of the defense. Very poor in pursuit, right? Lots of guys jogging. It's a real problem here. I think that they had mentally gotten broken at this point in the game because TCU just kept throwing haymakers. But you got to take good angles, right? That's how we grade the film. I'm grading you. I'm not grading everybody else. So this time, though, similar scenario, and he comes back and does it the right way, right? So I look for things like this. This play ends up happening afterwards. I believe this was their last defensive play of the game. And so he does it the right way this time. Can you correct your mistakes? Can you fix those things? He comes, gets outside in. Look at how he attacks the outside half of the receiver. So just in case he misses the tackle and everybody else now is pursuing a lot harder, right? He gets the ball back for his team. So that's it for this one. DJ Turner, right? So, up and down, very hard eval. I know that he had a really phenomenal overall season, but this game, as well as the Ohio State game, just did not do it for me. And I want to see you play elite against elite competition. I want to see you raise your level of play. Yeah, you can do it against Maryland. Yeah, you can do it against Rutgers. But in the college football playoff, I want to see you play at a totally different level. So, very hard evaluation for me because from an athletic standpoint, I think he's probably the best corner in the draft, right? The explosiveness with nearly a 40-inch vertical, the 4.2 40-yard dash, the broad jump, all that stuff was phenomenal. He's got great feet, got good hips, right? So I think that he could really turn into something, but he has got to go to a program where they're going to just like hammer him. And I know Michigan was probably hammering him and trying to move him to that next level, but I think that an NFL coaching staff will be able to get all out of him that he is totally capable of and meet his potential. So that's it for DJ Turner. Rough eval for me, but we're going to come back in the next video and talk about some more prospects. So you're going to want to come back and see that video. So as always, you know what it is. It's Coach Williams, Ball Hawks. We fly. I'm out. Peace.